Good morning, friends. I hope that all of you are fine and healthy. Today, in this video lecture, we are covering another one sonnet written by William Shakespeare. It is sonnet number 60, titled Like as the Waves. Before we explain the poem, we should have a brief introduction of the poet and the poem. As we have discussed in the previous lecture, William Shakespeare, who is also known as the national poet of England, was born on April 26, 1564 and died on April 23, 1616. He was not only a poet but also a playwright. He wrote 39 plays and 154 sonnets, including two long narrative poems. Out of his 154 sonnets, 126 sonnets are addressed to a fair youth or an unknown noble friend of the poet, and rest of the sonnets are addressed to a dark lady. So this sonnet, as we are reading in this lecture, is sonnet number 60, and this one is addressed to the fair youth or the unknown friend of the poet. So sonnet 60 is one of 154 sonnets written by English playwright and poet William Shakespeare. It's a member of fair youth sequence in which the poet expresses his love towards a young beloved. Sonnet 60 focuses upon the theme of the passing of time. This is one of the major themes of Shakespeare's sonnets. It can be seen in Sonnet 1 as well. So like Sonnets 1 to 126, Sonnet 60 is also addressed to a fair youth whose identity is not clear or it is debated. In the last two lines or in the couplet, the speaker says that his verse will live on and therefore make the beauty of the beloved immortal. The sonnet compares minutes to waves on a pebbled shore, regularly replacing each other. Time is also depicted as a gift giver and also as a gift destroyer. So through this introduction, we came to know that the theme of this poem is the nature of time. Time, which is most powerful, it gives us a number of gifts, and at the same time, it destroys all these gifts one after another. So, the same nature of the time is depicted here in this poem. So, let us read the poem first before we explain it. So, like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end, each changing place with that which goes before. In sequent toil, all forward do contend. Nativity, once in the man of light, travels to maturity, wherewith, being crowned, crooked eclipse gainst his glory fight, and time that gave doth now his gift confound. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the parallels in beauty's brow, feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands but for his scythe to mow, and yet to times in hope my verse shall stand, praising thy worth despite his cruel hand. So, this sonnet attempts to explain the nature of time as it passes and as it acts on human life. In the first quatrain, the speaker says that the minutes replace one another like waves on the pebbled shore, each taking the place of that which came before it in a regular sequence. In the second stanza, he tells the story of a human life in time by comparing it to the sun at birth. It rises over the ocean, then crawls upward toward the noon. Then it suddenly undone. Then is suddenly undone by crooked eclipses which fight against and confound the sun's glory. In the third stanza, time is depicted as a ravaging monster which hoards youthful flourish, digs wrinkles in the brow of beauty, gobbles up nature's beauties, and mows down with his scythe everything that stands. In the couplet, the speaker opposes his verse to the ravages of time. He says that his verse will stand in time to come and will continue to praise the worth of the beloved despite the cruel hand of time. So let us have a line by line paraphrasing of the poem. Like as the waves make toward the pebbled shore. In the first line, we are given a picture of some pebbled shore. So, the way in which the waves come and go back at a pebbled shore, in the same way, the time or the minutes come in our way and they passes slowly, smoothly, one after another. So, like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end. As the waves move toward the pebbled shore, so do the minutes we have to live hasten toward their end. So, time, it does not stop anyway in any condition. It always moves on and on and on. It never has a rest or halt. So, the waves on a pebbled shore and move, come and move. They replace the another one. In the same way, time also come and pass away. Each changing place with that which goes before, each moment changing place with one before, in sequent toil or forwards do contend. So everything that is happening on the seashore or on the pebbled shore, that is happening in a sequent successive manner. The one wave coming at the seashore or at the pebbled shore, and that another wave that is replacing the first one, the second one is replaced by the third one. So the same thing is happening again and again. So there is a sequence or successive manner of the same action or repetition of the action. So they are moving or striving to move forward one after another. So in the first stanza we are told about the nature of time, that time never stops and it moves on just like the waves on the pebbled shore. So the waves move forward the first ones. In the same way, the time also push up the present into past and the future takes place of the present. So time is never stopping, it always moves on in a continuous process. The second stanza begins, nativity once in the man of light crawls to maturity, wherewith being crowned, crooked eclipses against his glory fight, and time that gave doth now his gift confound. In this second stanza, human being's life is compared to the sun, the way in which sun rises and then goes higher in the noontime, and after that it comes back also to the sunset. In the same way, a human being takes birth just like a sunrise and starts struggling throughout his life and takes a position or peak time of his life. He reaches to some renowned place, and after that the time starts devouring his achievements, and one after another he reaches to its end. So nativity or the birth or the newborn infant once in the man of light crawls to maturity. So as the child takes birth from his mother's womb, he comes to the earth and starts struggling, crawls, moves slowly towards the maturity, just like the sun rises in the morning, and after that it goes higher and higher towards the noontime. Wherewith being crowned, and after doing a lot of struggle, a human being reaches to a higher position, and crooked eclipses against his glorified, and for achieving this glory he fights with a number of struggles, number of problems in his life. As the sun goes higher, he also have a struggle to do in his pathway. In the same manner, a human being also has to fight a number of problems when he reaches to his highest position. And time that gave doth now his gift confound. But this is time who gives the gifts to human being or nature, but at the same time the time is also a destroyer. So time who gave the number of gifts to the human being, now he is destroying all them one after another. So in this stanza we came to know that as the human being takes birth and reaches its maturity, and after doing a lot of struggle he reaches to some good position, but this time divorce his achievements one after another and takes him to his grave. Just like the sun rises in the morning, and after reaching to its highest position in the noon time, it also goes down and it set in the evening time. So this is what is presented here, that time is a gift giver, at the same time it is a destroyer. In the third stanza we take time. The same theme is continued in the third stanza also. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the parallels in beauty's brow, feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands but for his scythe to mow. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth. A youth or a young man who had beauty on his face now cannot save himself or herself from the eyes of the time. Time now transfixes the flourish set on the youth. Time which gives everything now destroys its own gifts. Time pierces the beauty of youth. Time pierces beauty of the youth, feeds on the and delves the parallels in beauty's brow. At a time, the forehead of a beautiful woman or a handsome man was sparkling with some rare beauty. At this time, why when the time passes, the time has brought some wrinkles or furrows on the face of that beautiful face. So, drawing wrinkles in beauty's forehead. At a time, a man was beautiful, handsome, and had some rare sparkling on his face. Now, his face is dimmed with the passing of time, and there are wrinkles on his forehead. Time divorced the beauty or the handsomeness of that particular person, and nothing stands but for his scythe to mow. As if scythe is a tool, that is a crooked one, that is used to cut down the grass. In the same way as the scythe cut down a grass, in the same way time also destroys everything that was that was given to human being by him. Now he taking them back one after another. And yet to time since hope my verse shall stand. In the last couplet, in the last two lines, the poet do hope that with this passing of time, the time can destroy everything, but he still hope that his words, his writing of this poem shall stand forever, and this poem of the poet will be read by the generations that will come after this particular period. So his words will be a immortal gift for the generations to come. So this time will not make any negative effect on this verse or on this poem and praising thy word despite his cruel hand. Here, Thai is the fair youth, the friend of the poet. The poet says that my poem will praise the worth or the qualities or the beauty of my beloved friend, my fair youth, despite the cruel hand of the time. So, time, the cruel hands of the time will not make any effect on the praising of the word of the poet's friend. So, in the couplet, the poet believes that his words will stand forever and will be able to praise the word of his beloved friend. So, in the concluding lines, poet is having a positive thinking and a positive aspect of the poetry or writing of his verse. He believes that his poem will make his friend immortal every time, forever, and he will be lived in the memories of the people or the generations to come. So, through this poem, we came to know, we came to understand the nature of the time who is a gift giver, at the same time he is a destroyer, the child who takes birth in a particular time, he becomes youth, and then he turns into the old age, and after a particular time he passes away from this earth. In this way we understand that time cannot leave anyone same forever. Even he destroyed the nature's beautiful gifts. So what is man in front of him? So nature even is not saved, could not save himself or herself from the iron hands of the time. So time is life giver as well as destroyer. I hope that you understood the words or understood the meaning of this poem. I hope you will enjoy it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Have a good day.